Picture this scenario. You walk into a movie theater. You're hungry, but you're also trying to be financially responsible. You tell yourself, I'm just going to get the small popcorn. I don't need to spend $10 on corn. You get to the counter. The small popcorn is $6. That feels expensive, but whatever. The large popcorn, the massive tub, is $8. But then right in the middle, you see the medium. The medium popcorn is $7.50. Your brain instantly does a calculation. The medium is $7.50. The large is only 50 cents more. It would be stupid to buy the medium. You buy the large, feeling like a savvy consumer who just hacked the system. You didn't get a deal. You got played. You walked in intending to spend $6 and you walked out spending $8. You spent 33% more solely because the theater placed a medium option on the board. My name is Marcus. That medium popcorn isn't a product. It is a psychological weapon known as the Decoy Effect, and it is draining your bank account every single day. We are terrible at judging absolute value. If I showed you a 6-cylinder engine piston and asked you how much it costs, you would have no idea. Is it $50? $500? We don't know the intrinsic value of things. We're comparative creatures. We function like Geiger counters. We can only measure things in relation to the things sitting next to them. Marketing executives know this. They know that if they present a product in isolation, you might decide it's too expensive. But if they present it alongside a decoy, an option that is deliberately terrible, the expensive product suddenly looks like a bargain. The decoy effect is specifically designed to shift your preference between two other options. In the popcorn example, the theater doesn't care about the medium. They don't want you to buy the medium. The medium exists solely to kill the small. Marketing executives know this. They know that if they present a product in isolation, you might decide it's too expensive. But if they present it alongside a decoy, an option that is deliberately terrible, the expensive product suddenly looks like a bargain. The decoy effect is specifically designed to shift your preference between two other options. In the popcorn example, the theater doesn't care about the medium. They don't want you to buy the medium. The medium exists solely to kill the small. Without the medium, you compare the small $6 to the large $8 and think, I'll save $2. But introduce the medium at $750, and suddenly the comparison shifts. You stop thinking about the absolute cost of $8 and start thinking about the relative gain. This architecture of choice is embedded in almost every financial decision you make, from the coffee you drink to the house you buy. Let's look at the tech industry, specifically Apple. Go to their website right now. You'll see a ladder of storage options. Let's say the base model is 64 gigabytes for $400. The next step up is 256 gigabytes for $550. And the top tier is $700. The gap between the entry level and the mid tier is designed to make you feel uncomfortable. 64 gigs isn't enough. You tell yourself, I'll run out of space. So you look at 256. It's $150 more. That feels steep, but then you look at the pricing structure and realize that for just a little bit more, you get into the pro territory. The middle tier is often priced awkwardly high to make the top tier pro model look reasonable. They're using the middle tier to push you up the ladder. You walk in wanting to spend $400 and walk out spending $700, convinced that it was the smart, logical choice because of the value per gigabyte. This phenomenon was famously studied by a behavioral economist named Dan Ariely. He noticed something weird on the subscription page for The Economist magazine. They offered 3 options: a web-only subscription for $59, a print-only subscription for $125, and a web plus print subscription for $125. Read that again. The print-only and the web plus print were the exact same price. It made no sense. Why would anyone buy the print-only version when you could get the web version for free included in the third option? Ariely ran a study. Almost nobody picked the middle option, print-only. Most picked the combo deal because it felt like they were getting the web version for free. It felt like a steal. But then Ariely removed the middle option, the decoy. Suddenly, the preference flipped. Most chosen the cheaper web-only option. The middle option was useless as a product, but it was essential as a psychological anchor. Its only job was to make the expensive price tag feel like a bargain. This is where it gets really interesting and honestly terrifying for your wallet. This hack applies to the biggest purchases of your life, including real estate. A good real estate agent knows how to weaponize the decoy effect. Let's say you're looking for a house with a budget of $500,000. The agent shows you house A. It's nice, fits your criteria, and is listed at $500,000. Then they show you house B. House B is the decoy. It is also listed at $500,000 or maybe even $510, but it's in worse condition. The roof needs repairs. The kitchen is dated. The agent knows you won't buy house B. They're showing it to you to reset your baseline. After seeing the dumpy house B, house A suddenly looks like a palace. You stop scrutinizing the flaws in house A because at least it's not house B. Then they show you house C listed at $525,000, which is slightly better than house A. You were far more likely to stretch your budget to $525,000, feeling like you're getting a steal. The bad option makes the mediocre look good and the good look great. This sees this aggressively in the automotive industry with trim levels. You see an ad for an SUV starting at $30,000. That's the anchor. You go to the dealership. The base model has cloth seats and no heated steering wheel. It feels cheap. Then you see the limited trim for $40,000. That's a $10,000 jump. It hurts. But wait, there's the premium trim for $38,000. It has almost everything the limited has, but it's missing that one cool feature you really want, like the panoramic sunroof. The dealer has priced the premium so close to the limited that you think, well, for only $2,000 more, I might as well get the fully loaded one. The premium trim is the decoy. They're managing your pain. They know that once you've mentally committed to spending $38,000, the leap to $40,000 is frictionless. The danger of the decoy effect is that it creates upsell leakage in your budget. Think about coffee. Starbucks uses the tall grande venti pricing to perfection. The price difference between a grande and a venti is usually minimal, maybe 30 or 40 cents, but the volume difference is significant. You almost always upsell yourself to the venti because the math tells you it's a better deal. But is it? If you didn't need 20 ounces of liquid sugar and caffeine, you didn't save money. You spent 40 extra cents. If you do that every day, that's $150 a year. Multiply that by every subscription, every popcorn, every fast food combo meal where you supersized it because it was only $1 more. We're bleeding thousands of dollars a year in value upgrades. We are efficient shoppers buying inefficient amounts of stuff. So why does our brain do this? It comes down to loss aversion and the fear of missing out on value. When we see the medium popcorn for $7.50 and the large for $8, our brain interprets buying the medium as a loss. We feel like we are leaving popcorn on the table. We hate losing more than we love winning. The marketer creates a scenario where the only way to avoid the feeling of being ripped off is to spend more money. This is a major driver of lifestyle creep. When you get a raise, you go shopping for a new apartment. But the market is filled with decoys. The one bedroom is $2,000. The two bedroom is $2,800. But the two bedroom with a view is $2,900. You justify the extra $900 because the comparison makes the view look cheap. You stop asking, can I afford $2,900? And start asking, which of these is the best deal? Those are two very different questions. The first question protects your wealth. The second destroys it. There's also a particularly nasty version of this in the world of SaaS, software as a service, and digital subscriptions. Go to any software pricing page, you will see 3 columns. Almost always, the basic plan is garbage. It's missing key features. It is the decoy. It exists to make you hate it. The pro plan is highlighted. It says most popular. The price is perfectly calibrated to be painful, but acceptable compared to the limited silver plan. They are hurting you. They are sheepdogs, and you are the sheep. They don't want you in silver, and they know you won't pay for platinum. They built the entire maze to force you into gold. When you click gold, you feel like you made a choice. You didn't. You walked down the only hallway they left open. So, how do we fight back? How do we stop falling for the decoy effect? The first step is to recognize the ugly brother. This is a term from behavioral psychology. If you have two options, A and B, and you can't decide, adding a third option, negative a worse version of A, makes A look amazing. When you're shopping, look for the ugly brother. The second strategy is to define your absolute needs before you ever look at the menu or the price list. If you decided 64 gigabytes was enough storage for your phone, buy the 64 gigabytes. Do not look at the 256 gigabytes price. The math is a trap. You cannot bank price per ounce. You can only bank dollars. If the large popcorn is a better value per ounce, but you throw half of it away, you lost money. Efficiency doesn't matter if the consumption is wasteful. The decoy effect is everywhere. It's a tax on your attention span. It's a tax on your inability to calculate value in a vacuum. The corporations are betting that you will always choose the path of least psychological resistance, which is the upsell. Prove them wrong. Be the person who orders a small popcorn. Keep your money in your pocket instead of trading it for a perceived value that disappears the moment you walk out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.